Hello, I am Ajay Kumar. Rudyard Kipling said, God could not be everywhere, and therefore he made mothers. In today's world, I would slightly modify this as God could not be everywhere, and therefore he made parents. Are you a parent looking to connect with your child on a deeper level? Do you want to develop your emotional intelligence and inspire positive behavior in your little ones? Join us for a transformative experience with the pioneers of mindful parenting, our monthly interactive session on May 31st from 6 to 7 p.m. IST. This will feature Dr. Kiran Bedi, Ms. Saina Barucha, and Mr. Praveen Parameshwar, renowned specialists in parenting, education, and mindfulness. This occasion will be blessed with the presence of an esteemed personality, Princess Ashwati Tirunal Gauri Lakshmi Bhai. This event is brought to you by the Ajay Bharati Foundation in association with India Vision Foundation and Demonstrative Learning. Together, we will explore the power of active listening, empathy, and patience, and learn new strategies to create a strong and meaningful bond with our children. Parenting is a journey, and we are here to support each other along the way. Don't miss out this opportunity to embark on a voyage of self-discovery and growth with like-minded parents. Join us for mindful parenting and become a conscious, compassionate, and capable parent of today. Thank you.
जयधारी माँ, आप सबको मेरी तरफ से जयधारी माँ, आप सबको नमस्ते, प्रणाम। हमारी ऑडियंसेस का स्वागत है। आइए जुड़िए। खूब प्रेरणा देने वाला आज ये इवेंट हम शुरू कर रहे हैं, माइंडफुल पेरेंटिंग। ये अजय सर और प्रवीण सर की किताब से प्रेरित है। अभी जैसे प्रोग्राम बढ़ेगा, मैं मैम और मम्मी दोनों को रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि वो इस प्रोग्राम के बारे में आप सबको बताएंगे और ये सब कैसे हुआ, वो आपको विस्तार में इसके बारे में बताएंगे। उसके बाद हम थोड़ा सा आपको फ्लो बताती हूँ, फिर शुरू करेंगे। अजय सर अपने थॉट्स को एक्सप्रेस करेंगे, प्रवीण सर अपने थॉट्स को एक्सप्रेस करेंगे और फिर हर हाइनेस गौरी लक्ष्मी जी आएंगे, वो इस प्रोग्राम को ग्रेस करेंगे, उनके एक्सपीरियंस को जाने, फुल ऑफ रिच एक्सपीरियंस। फिर हम एक प्यारे से मम्मी डैडी को मिलेंगे और ये हम हर महीने करेंगे, क्योंकि हम अपनी अपनी वर्क स्पेस में जो भी हैं, दैट्स वंडरफुल, बट एज पेरेंट्स वी आर मम्मी and daddy. So that's what you're going to experience in each event. You're going to see the mother in the person you're going to meet and the father in the person you're going to meet. Parenting का कोई manual तो है नहीं, हाँ एक guiding light है, that has to be mindfulness and a lot of love. तो आइए शुरू करते हैं। मम्मी जी, आप इंट्रोड्यूस करें, बात करें अजय सर के बारे में, प्रवीण सर के बारे में। जी
Today, friends, we are starting a really new program. So far in demonstrative learning, you were all seeing a book reading with teenagers. Today, we are meeting parents of those teenagers, those brilliant teenagers who are produced. And we have today amidst us Ajay Kumar and we have Praveen Parameshwar. These are two brilliant authors of this book, Mindful Parenting. I happen to be having a fortune of releasing their book. See, Ajay and Praveen, The Art of Guiding Children to Success. This is that book. It. I happened to a few months ago. We got together, and Ajay is from Abu Dhabi, and Praveen is the CEO of Lefology. Ajay is not only an author of this book. Ajay Kumarji is also he's co-authored not only two books, but he's a Global Asian of the Year 21-22 award by Asian Asia One magazine. But what brings him here is not this award. What brings him is a parent of two brilliant children, and I've seen the way he talks about his children, his and I've also met his daughter, who's already writing poetry and is an author. So, in a way, a very successful father in his business and his brilliant many activities, as you'll see on the back of the page if you get across to this book. Similarly, we came across Praveen Prameshwar, who is the CEO of Lefology, which is guiding the youth to make better choices and right choices so that they minimize mistakes and maximize success. So I happened to be part of this book release event in Delhi, and that's how the idea of parenting emerged. And this event, we decided, why not go back to demonstrative learning to release? So friends, this is how the background is, and we realize that how important parenting has become. But we also chose a very successful parenting in Dr. Maria's, both Dr. Gitanjali Maria and Dr. Karan Maria. And so we have Prameshwar, we have Praveen, we have Ajay, and we've got the Marias, and of course Saina, who would anchor us beautifully and coordinate this work. So this is how this. So we will be talking through this book, and also as parents. We also have the chief guest, as the princess was mentioned, as Saina mentioned the princess. So Ajay, over to you, because you got us all together thanks to your book. So over back to you as a parent now.
अजय sir, जी, जी sir.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am, for your kind words. It's a pleasure to have you all at the inaugural session of Mindful Parenting. Voltaire, the famous French writer and philosopher, once said, "Judge a person by his questions rather than his answers." This statement is true for Dr. Kiran Bedi, a person who needs no introduction. Dr. Kiran Bedi can be seen as a towering personality, a social activist, a writer, reformist, and an icon who continues to inspire many, including me. Personally, she has been a motherly figure to me, guiding me on relevant matters and enlightening me on any new areas where changes can bring positive development to society. Srimati Kiran Bedi will lead the initiative to speak and discuss my book titled Mindful Parenting. I'm delighted, ma'am, and honored that you have chosen to discuss and articulate the virtues of this book. And this event is brought to you by Ajaya Bharati Foundation, established in memory of my mother to promote the ideals of parenting in schools in India and abroad. Demonstrative Learning, a platform dedicated to sharing experience by Dr. Kiran Bedi, acquired over 4 decades of her diverse work. And India Vision Foundation is a non-profit organization dedicated to transforming lives and empowering marginalized communities in India. It's my pleasure to introduce to you another distinguished individual who has made significant contributions to both the professional and social realm. Saina Barucha, a permanent trustee of India Vision Foundation, Vice President of Navjyoti Foundation, and Chief Executive of Demonstrative Learning. Amidst her impressive achievements, what truly sets Sainaji apart is her remarkable humility and soft-spoken nature. It is truly inspiring to witness someone of her stature actively involved in social causes at such a young age. With great joy, I would like to introduce Praveen Parameshwar, who I have known for decades. Praveen holds a special place in my heart as our bond goes beyond friendship. He's more of a brother to me, Our experience together has forged an unbreakable bond. One of our remarkable collaboration has been co-authoring this book, Mindful Parenting. We are talking about this book today. Praveen's impact extends far beyond our book. He is an exceptional individual who has made significant strides in the realm of education and career guidance. Praveen has unwavering passion for empowering individuals in their educational and professional journeys. As a CEO of Lifeology, he has successfully led his company to new heights. Today, we are privileged to engage in insightful conversation and gain invaluable wisdom from Praveen Parameshwar. Welcome, Praveen. Today, before I wrote Mindful Parenting, I have authored two other books. The idea of writing a parenting book came to me when I heard the famous quote: "The way we talk to our children becomes their inner voice." Unlike my previous books, which were meant to guide others, this book was for myself, I would say. I learned and grew as a parent throughout the writing process of this book. I reflected on my successes and failures as a parent and turned them into a book. I chose the title Mindful Parenting because it captured my journey. I also chose Praveen, or rather requested Praveen, as to become my co-author because he had two qualities that I admired. He was an entrepreneur in the field of career guidance, and he was a younger parent than me, so we could represent two generations well. Mindful Parenting is unlike any other parenting book due to its fresh approach and unique perspective. We have worked diligently to develop an innovative parenting system that aims to address the challenges and diverse perspectives faced by modern parents. Drawing upon stories and experiences, we strive to introduce this system in a manner that is engaging, relatable, and resonates with parents on their unique journeys. We have actually made best efforts to take a holistic approach, considering not only the child's well-being but also family dynamics, the parent-child connection, and broader societal influences. By embracing the concept of being a parent of the present, we encourage parents to adapt their parenting styles to meet the unique needs of their children in today's world. Now, I would like to request Praveen Prameshwar to speak a few words, please. Praveen.
जी प्रवीण जी
Thank you, Ajay. So, Karanviti ma'am, so Saina ma'am and Ajay, so and whoever is going to speak after me, the dignitaries. So, it's a great privilege to share screen with all of you, and it is a great happy moment to co-author a book on mindful parenting with Ajay. So, I would say, like, I have two kids. So, one is 10 years, and the second one is 3.5 years. So, before 10 years, so where before I became a parent, so I was having a perspective towards parenting, like, you don't need to intervene in your child's life because your child is a very different individual. So, why should you intervene in their life? So, like, so you biologically become a route for them to come to this world and let them grow, let them flourish, let them move forward. You don't need to, guide them or be a part of their life, or you don't even need to intervene in any aspect of our life. But that was my perspective towards parenting. So before I become a parent, I think during the initial days of parenting as well, maybe for the initial a couple of years as well, so I was holding the same mindset, and I thought, I believed, and like, in the western part of the world, so that is a mindset. It's like the parent become a medium for the child to be here, and like, the parent need not intervene in any way to shape up the life of the child. But after I became a parent, I started realizing that, it's not like that. So they are, because I always connected with my work. So before starting Lifeology, I was doing a consulting job. I used to work as a consultant or a coach for leaders and companies. So I started thinking like, for for $1 billion company, which has been run by the Harvard or the IIM kind of alumnus, they need consultants, coaches, guides, supportive system around themselves to make them navigate through the very complexities of the world. If even a material company needs, which has been run by very efficient people, needs such kind of a development ecosystem around, so how foolish it is to think like, a 13-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 12-year-old would decide everything by themselves without the support or guidance of anybody. So there I started thinking, no, the role of parent is much more than being the medium. So the role of parent is to be a guide or a mentor, or like, the person who is holding the hands of the child to move forward till a time, and then show the right way for him to move forward. So I realized it is very important to understand about parenting, to learn more about parenting, and then like, try to parent kids in the right manner. So that's where I started thinking about parenting, reading about it. So I would say my perspective towards parenting got phenomenally changed. So why do I say this? Because now, as part of my current job, so I talk to most of the people I talk are either students, either children or parents or teachers. And I do interact with these groups in the Western world and in the Eastern world. So let me share my understanding or observation on this. The people on the Western world started thinking very deeply that the way which they have parented children till date was wrong. They need to be more involved in the life of children in a positive manner. And even I remember, I think in 2008 or 9, so I remember even BBC was doing a campaign like back to home. That means like, children come back to home, be with parents, so that like, they go for right education, they go for right habits, they go for job at the right time, at the right places, so that the grooming can be very well. So this shift is happening drastically in the Western world. Whereas in the Eastern world, especially in a country like India, which is the most populated country in the world, so we are taking a different backward shift. Whereas, like, the younger generation parents, specifically parents of my generation, and backward and forwards, so we do have the tendency of a very liberal kind of a parenting, whereas a parent should not intervene. So, which is, I would say, not right. So this is where, I mean, this is the perspective which motivated me to contribute more in terms of thoughts and energy to contribute to the book which Ajay really wanted to come up with, Mindful Parenting, because I firmly believe every parent who is listening to this. So if you think in your mind that you don't have a role in the way your children are growing up in this world, that is wrong. So, being a parent, you have to do mindful parenting to ensure that you are being, because you are responsible for the future of your child. So, in that way, so you need to intervene and you need to involve in a positive and comprehensive manner in the life of children. And I believe our book, Mindful Parenting, will be and can be a right tool for you to understand how to do that. So, this is what I would like to share with all of you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Praveen sir. Thank you so much. Ajay sir, it's time to call Her Highness Gauri Lakshmi ji. आप उनको please introduce her and then we call her.
And can we have the parents of Dr. Maria's also on screen now?
जी, we'll get them. Sir, but please do introduce her before we get ma'am. जी.
Pranam, Her Highness. Today, as we gather for our inaugural session on mindful parenting, we are filled with deep gratitude and honor as we are joined by a distinguished guest whose presence and participation holds immense significance. It is with great pleasure that we extend our heartfelt appreciation to Her Highness Ashwati Tirunal Gauri Lakshmi Bai for graciously accepting our invitation. Her Highness, a distinguished writer hailing from the illustrious lineage of the Travancore royal family, has achieved numerous accolades and made significant contribution to the field. Please join me in expressing our deepest appreciation to Her Highness Ashwati Tirunal Gauri Lakshmi Bai. Thank you, Your Highness, for kindly accepting our invitation and gracing the event with your presence. We wholeheartedly seek your blessings, continuous guidance, and unwavering support in our noble endeavor of mindful parenting. Thank you, ma'am.
जी pranam pranam ji. Please grace us with a few words, please. Thank you.
I think ma'am is on mute.
And
Ma'am, switch on your mic.
जी आ रही है जी.
I got a intimation to join this very significant session, and I must say that I feel very humbled at being invited to be present among so many luminaries. Anyway, I'm just speaking off the bat. What comes to me, it is not a prepared what is presentation or something. First thing is what is least wanted and least appreciated is advice. So I would not use the word advice. I would only say I'm sharing a few random thoughts on this subject with this illustrious assembly of people. Parenting. In India,
जी
in India, Mahabharat, the position of the parents, of the elders, of the Karanamans, as we say, was always held in great esteem and respect by the younger generations. And they, in turn, showered their attention, their love, maybe stern discipline also at times, so that their children would become better human beings and better parents when their time came. With the swing of centuries and with globalization knocking at our doors, for good or for bad, so many changes have come about. And today, we are in a society where everybody is very independent. Everybody seems to have their own opinion. Today, the parents in many places or in many situations we find the parents are wary of the children. They're afraid of the children, not the other way around. I don't say that the children should be afraid of the parents, but they should have respect for them. They should listen to them. And then here, the parents feel that if they enforce discipline, if they're strict, children will rebel, they may go away, they may go into depression or even the extreme suicide. So they are also very wary of the steps they take. And that has become a very negative situation as of now. We find one of the reasons, perhaps, and they have written a very significant book, they have gone into all the details, the pros and cons and everything, is the lack of time, maybe lack of inclination also. That's inclination is camouflage, lack of inclination. To be together, the parents, the children, they have very little time to be together, to exchange views, to talk, even wiki matters, small things, big things, mundane things. Everybody is very busy with their own thing, and the greatest threat to their time and availability is the WhatsApp or the whatever it is you put on all the time. That is there. You are there all the time. It is there. So that nobody has any time. The father has no time. The mother has no time. The children have no. They are all sitting and doing this. The parents must find time to be with their children. Quality time. If not, quantity time may not be possible. Quality time to interact with the children, pass on to them ideals which have been handed over from generation to generation. Every nation has got its own culture, every soil has got its own traditions, and westernization is not an answer at all. It's not an answer at all. And while we are we are politically independent, I fear, are we becoming uh, slaves of Western ideas and Western ideals, emotionally or practically in our daily life, whether we are going on leaving our own culture and going with that. Parenting also has taken a very, very bad knock. I come from a family where the father, mother, my perspective does not end with the father and mother. I come from a joint family where there was no generation gap. My grandmother, my uncle, Maharaja Chitra Tirunal of Travancore, with whom I lived all my life, everybody, I mean, it's aunts, uncles, I mean, it was a big joint family where even today we are in a joint family. But that helped a lot. It was not just the father or the mother. It could be the elder person or the very precious person called the grandmother or the grandfather. Uh, I'm a grandmother of three grandchildren, and I know the joys and the fears and the joy. Now I'm frightened. Many times I fear what is there, what is in store, and the parents have to find time. Parents or elders, I cannot just, limit myself to parents. The parents or elders who are with the children, they have to find time to make them aware of the dangers that lurk at every corner, of the pluses that they have, and also one thing more, which I always feel, whether the parents or the elders can instill into the children the sense of devotion or dedication to their own land. Bharat, we will find the brain drain, and so many people, so many youngsters, once they finish school, there are ideas to go abroad. And they think it's a passport to glory, or they become a little, they get a better dignity, or they become more, up in standard, and they go and they will never come back. Very few people come back and they go. Cannot the parents or the family instill in the children that your duty, your devotion, your dedication is to this soil, to the land that has nurtured you? You have taken everything from it. You have taken the air, you have taken the water, you have taken the advantages of the soil, and then you go and you don't look back. That is a terrible thing. Even if you go, if you go for research and things like go, but come back, come back. This is your mother, this is your motherland, that is your foster mother. Of course, there are so many things which I don't want to enter. That's not the area of discussion here. Why many children go? Certain policies, certain situations are there which encourage them to go. But are they going to a land which is better? I do not know. Anyway, they are the parents. Parenting does not mean just guiding the children on the general values, but they must instill in them our the bhakti or the dedication to our land, to our Madhur our precious Bharat. And I hope that they will be able to do that. And the book which has come out, it has a lot of practical suggestions on what should be done or how things can be done. And let us hope that it will help, because it's a very, very, very imperative necessity that this parenting or the seniors' interaction with the juniors is being made substantial, fruitful, significant. By the grace of God, let us hope it happens. Thank you.
Ji, thank you, Pranam. Pranam, thank you for your kind words. Thank you for your blessed words. We will take the advice and the guidance forward. We'll definitely do that. Ji, taking the program forward, we request Dr. Gitanjali Maria and Dr. Karan Maria to join us. वो एक साथ बैठे, मम्मी डैडी एक साथ बैठे.
Exactly.
They are in the medical profession, they're dentists in their professional space, but they're sitting here as parents, as a mother and a father, and they're going to share their parenting journey from their heart. So, over to you, Ji.
Thank you so much, Saida, for your kind words. I feel the journey has been beautiful because raising a child is like offering a prayer by the couple as a teamwork. it has been a mixed bag of emotions. It was joy, stress, sacrifice, and arguments, but with loads of love. I think so far as love is concerned, that was also always unconditional and it's always there. We had a lot of fun times together. So I think giving a loving and supporting atmosphere at home and being friends first with your children is the first and the foremost thing. Because if you're friends first, then they don't look outside for emotional support and they come and confide with you over anything which is big or small. And I think we ourselves learned while teaching them. uh, I personally feel that I became more disciplined while doing it for them, because we've always tried to be a role model for our children, whether it was with our compatibility, no arguments in front of them, because children are like a sponge. They are imbibing whatever they are seeing in the house. So, to give them a good atmosphere, you need to be the role model for compatibility. And one thing that I have always noticed is that people try to give one thing. I think it's like a crystal. If you put all the lights of the spectrum, the lights like the Vibgyor could be a red, a yellow, but it has to be, whether it is education, it is sport, it is any extracurricular, it is emotional intelligence, which is very important, that they can control their own emotions as well as they should be very mindful of other people's emotions around them. So if we can put all the colors of the spectrum into the crystal, it will emit white light. I think
So in our pursuit, it was like that we have to make them whole, not a single like an educationist or a professional. They should be in a totality. They should be a good human being, and for this, the shared responsibility between the partner is very important, and the compatibility. I would say it is of utmost importance, where you can take mutual decisions for the betterment of the kids. So for that, we were blessed that we were quite compatible in this regard.
yeah, synchronization totally, I think. We used to take turns when our children used to study at night. I usually sleep at night, so I would be awake till 2 o'clock. He would then get up at 2 o'clock and be with them till 5, so that one person was always sitting and reading a book or doing whatever. But they felt that we were there while they were doing whatever. And not only education, not only studies, it is wholesome. It's whether it was sports, each child is different. They would like.
So we would, what we used to do was that we used to take some gaps, like if she is busy in her profession, then I would take a back seat, and if the kids need us, then I would provide that. It is not that I am as a man that I have to do everything. So it was to discipline ourselves and to give maximum to our kids, so that they should not miss if they require us.
Yeah, and also I think inculcating spirituality in children, so that wherever they are in the world, they feel that there is a connect with the universe and they are emotionally stronger. And I think one thing which I would like to say is one thing which we always stuck together was to have meals together. It was a given, whether a child is coming late or he's coming late or I'm coming. Everybody would wait, but that meal has to be together. That was dinner, yes, but it was always together.
And we used to love our family traditions, and we passed on them to them, so that at least they can take it further. Whatever festivals we had, we used to celebrate together, so that they should know what is there in our traditions, what are the values. They should have the respect for our elders, which is of utmost importance, I feel. So in the path of our parenting, we had taken all these things into account,
Yeah, and God has been kind that we have a very realistic bond with our children, which I think is the most important.
How did you address the money issue with them? How did you do money and parenting?
Money, we never gave them money.
Ma'am, but the
As
point
much
is
as they
that,
wanted.
yeah, they should know that whatever they want, but the needs have to be weighed first. Whether they think what they require has to be prioritized, whether it is of utmost importance, and then whatever they want, they will get.
Yeah, money was always sanctioned. Whatever the needs were always provided for. Beyond that, it was sanctioned, so that it doesn't go into the wrong
They
side.
should know basically the value of money.
That is what.
मैम अभी her highness ने जब बोला when she was giving her guidance to all of us, she said inclination and time. I want to ask you, what does it mean for you to be a mother? I truly believe that it has to have the utmost, biggest, largest, most heartful priority in your life to be a mother, to be a
Yes.
father. Then the magic happens.
Yes.
What does it mean first for you to be a mother, for you to be a father, for you to be a wife, for you to be a husband? It all stems out from that space. Ji.
So for me to be a mother is like I was provided with some clay, which I had to model into human beings. Yes, they were growing, but it wasn't only teaching them new things, it was also putting a soul into them. And that soul was the reflection of us, a reflection of me, a reflection of him. To make them good humans with a good civic sense, but we were always there to encourage so that they can pursue their interests, whatever they chose. And we were there to help them with their passion. And
We had given them the freedom of their expression. We would listen to them, and we would listen what they want to do in future. And if we felt that they can do it, we will also support them by financially and whatever strength, whatever support they need, it is provided for them. But they should do whatever thing they want in the best of their ability.
I think the most important thing is also not only praising them for whatever goods they do, but also being a support in any kind of failure in life. Because to learn how to deal with failure, to get up if you fall, is the most important thing, that they can be resilient enough to keep trying till the time they reach their goal. So that was something that we were trying to get them through.
जी मेरे जहन में एक सवाल आ रहा है अजय सर आपको पूछूंगी we'll all just stay connected जब भी हमारे मन में कोई बात आए हम एक दूसरे से पूछें अजय सर आपने बोला है माइंडफुल पेरेंटिंग एंड प्रवीण सर ने भी बात करी अबाउट पेरेंटिंग माइंडफुल पेरेंटिंग गाइडिंग योर चाइल्ड all the decisions and the guidance at various stages. Ajay sir, before being a mindful parent, one has to be a mindful person. One has to be a wholesome, mindful individual. So, how important it is for a parent to also keep looking within and guiding one's own self correctly. Ji sir.
Yeah, thank you, Sanaji. A very interesting question. Actually, I think parenting is also wisdom, and as Her Highness said, parenting is blessing. So we should not consider parenting as a job; it's a blessing, and parenting is wisdom. So wisdom, unfortunately, cannot be taught. So once you have wisdom, or once you learn or try to acquire wisdom, I think you become not only a better parent, before itself you become a better person. If you are not a better person, I don't think you can serve as a parent. And as Doctor said, we need to lead by example. So if we can't be better persons, our children will not be better persons of future. So I think wisdom is something that is the foremost important thing that someone should have or someone should possess.
Gee, gee. You live and learn. We all are living. We all have to live and learn. Praveen, sir,
Can I ask Dr. Maria, how did they deal with the friends, challenges of friends? Before we come to Praveen, doctors, could you tell us how did you deal with the challenge of friends of your children, both daughter and your son? What
Yes,
kind of
it was
friends?
quite
How do you handle that?
Yes, it was quite tough when they were in teenage age. So we were in continuous touch with our kids, and we used to go for parent-teacher alternately, or both of us will go there, and then we would also observe what type of friends they are having, what are they doing, and then we would make them understand the values.
So I think we spoke about anything and everything with our children, whether it was the taboo subjects which we feel, the drugs, the sex, the peer pressures, the pressure that of socializing, late nights. So we would always bring it up on the table together. That's why that meal together, that dinner together was so important. That especially, I think, and even the teenage, the friends, the girl and the boy, every child is different. So you have to deal differently. And the friends have to be chosen very well, but you cannot dictate your terms. You can only make them understand that this is right and this is wrong. And I think we've been very lucky that the children really understood the gist of what we were trying to say, and they went in the right direction. God has been kind.
so you are suggesting that while you're guiding your children, the love has to be unconditional.
Unconditional. I think that
absolutely.
is the root cause, is the unconditional love and the atmosphere that you give at home, that you are their best friend. That, basically, I think children need to confide. They need somebody to say that they are right. So if you are there and there is no line that, we can't tell this to parents, we can't tell that. They should be able to tell you everything. And that is obviously the root is unconditional love and support.
Well, I'll give you an example. Well, when we used to go for our clinics in the evening, so Gitanjali would go a bit late because our kids used to come at 4 o'clock. Our clinic used to start at around 4:30. So she would stay back for an hour or so and meet the kids, and whatever they had done throughout the day, she would ask them, and they would confide into her and tell what all in excitement or whatever it was. They would tell everything what had happened in the school.
So that is a habit till today.
So then she would join me back in the clinic a bit later, and during that time they would do their homework and everything, and then by 7:38 we would join them back.
In fact, when my son was young, he used to go to the school and say, "No, my mother doesn't work. She's always home." I'm telling you, you think she works, she doesn't work. Because when they were in their formative years, I even took Saturdays off. So they were in a day boarding, they would come back at 4 o'clock, and we both would be there. He would leave, I'll be there. They go to the park, I go to the clinic. They come back from the park, I'm again home. Saturdays they are home, I'm again home. So they were for sure, my younger one used to say, she doesn't work.
Yeah, as you rightly said, if you don't speak to them at the age of 2, you can't expect them to listen to you at the age of 20. So I think
Exactly.
communication is very important. I would say that you should communicate with your kids. Whatever is there in their heart, you should listen with empathy and respect their whatever they are saying, and then think about whatever they are saying, and then give your judgment or whatever later.
I think they should be able to value their abilities and value themselves so that they are so strong that you feel that strength.
What kind of challenges did come back to you, Dr. Maria? What kind of challenges the boy or the girl, your daughter or son, come back to you from school and say this was a challenge? What kind of challenges?
I think all the challenges are different in different age groups. Sometimes there's a little bullying here and there. There is some peer pressure, some things that other children are doing that, they would come and ask, is that the right thing to do? So and so was doing this. And that is where your bond with them exists. That is where you are the guide. The moment they come and ask you as a parent, is that the right thing? Is that the wrong thing? So I think whatever we are, we cannot be perfect either. We can guide them at that point.
Were the challenges of the daughter and the boy were different?
Definitely.
Definitely. Lots different. Also different because of the gender, but also different because I think each child is different. Each child has their own perspective towards life. A might like this and B might not like this. So I have always said nothing is right or wrong. Whatever you think is right. But obviously there are guidelines to what is right and wrong. But both the girl and the boy are very different. Very different.
What were the red lines you as parents, red lines did you draw for your children?
Discipline. The red lines were that they have to be, we've had a curfew time, always. So we've been, I don't know, you call it strict parenting or whatever. We've had curfew times and we've always had chaperones, whether it was my daughter or my son. If they had to go out in the night and there was somebody waiting outside. Otherwise, yes, we give them the full liberty to be individuals, and we always told them that we totally and completely trust you and don't break our trust. And we have been kind that.
So there would be a chaperone who would be waiting outside.
Yes. A driver, whatever, somebody.
So that supervised space with supervision.
Kind of, yes. Maybe just protection.
Yeah, it can be protection as well.
It can be protection because he would sleep till the time the kids come back home. He would be like, okay, now that the bell rings, okay, I'll sleep.
That's very interesting. Praveen, can I ask Praveen to respond to this? Praveen, I think that's very interesting. Having a chaperone waiting, whether it's a boy or a girl, I think that's extreme. But can parents always, all of them have the luxury to have? Praveen, what do you think as an author?
Two things, ma'am. Number one, it's a good sign, a good gesture, and a good step forward that something similar is happening there. But I think if it is in the form of a chauffeur for them, it should be in the form of, in some other form for everybody. It may be like one of the parent, or it's like a friend of the parent, or it's like the parent of the kids' friends. So, they can take turns. So somehow, so depends on the affordability, depends on the way of life, depends on the place of life. It may change, but some sort of a support in that angle is really adding value to people. It's not only in terms of protection, in terms of emotional comfort, and in terms of emotional, I would say emotional strength also for a kid. That is very good, because a kid can think like, there is somebody around me to protect or to support or to give me a shoulder if something happens. So that is in fact very important, because many times when we talk about overt independence, on the other side, so emotionally people are becoming weaker because they don't have a support ecosystem around themselves. So creating a support ecosystem in any terms, I would say it is really good, but depends on the capacity. It can be the mode can be, or the source can be differing. That's what I think.
जी
It's exceedingly
Her Highness, thank you कि आप हमारे you've been with us throughout. We are requesting you to talk about your journey as a mother. How did you raise your children so beautifully?
Please switch on
Where
your mic, ma'am.
the role of the mother is
Yes,
not
ma'am.
mother, grandmother, and so part of the responsibility of bringing up my children. My mother also was very much involved in it, and as the, the doctor couple have said, that the joy of bringing up children, the little fears we had, and the expectations. But we never uh, burdened them with expectations. Or you must do that wonderfully well. You must come first in class. I personally never went to school. I never went to school. My sister, brother, none of us, we studied at home. Tutors came and taught us. We went to college and graduated. But our children all went to school. But when we told them we are happy that you do well, you learn well, and all that. But if you don't come first in the class, then that's finished. That they have so much of peer pressure that we have never imposed on the children. We have tried to tell them we have a lot of special values also, a special childhood, exceptional values which are not relevant perhaps today in many houses. But so many things we have tried to impart to them, and of course, the very, very important thing to be a good human being, to be somebody who loves God, serves God, that is very important. And I think by and large, things went fairly well. Of course, as they said, sometimes difference of opinion are there that we cannot help. But and as we grow older, our children perhaps would think that our advice may not be all that important because they are already grown up themselves, their parents and things like that. All those things. And one thing the Dr. Kapil said was very, very important. That is when you support the children in their endeavors, when you applaud them when they are victorious, you have to make them realize that they are with you when things don't go well, when there are failures, when things don't work out well. That is perhaps the most important thing that I have heard today. That the children should have a confidence that the parents are there for them. That we have also, unfortunately, we did not have to face many situations there. Some yes, some situations somewhere we have won, somewhere we have lost, or I do not know whether that's the proper term to use. But by and large, as far as my children are concerned, well, I'm grateful to God for them. I don't know whether they're grateful to God for me and for my husband, but anyway, definitely I'm grateful to God for them. Thank you.
Of
Let's
course, they
let's
thank.
ask Ajay, the author. Let's ask Ajay, the author.
जी.
Ajay, the author, you're a parent now, not only as an author here today, you're a parent. How did you do this magic with your boys and girls, your children?
Yeah. Ma'am, I would like to say to be a good parent, we have to be a forever parent. And I would like to quote our fourth chapter, a few lines from our fourth chapter. Be a forever parent. Actually, parenting does not happen in a day. It takes years and years and forever. Remember, once a parent, always a parent. You just ought to try to do your best and be the one to run back to always. As doctors said the same thing, Her Highness said the same thing. I think this is a continuous process. You need to, there are no right and wrong, there are no hard and fast rules. It's as the doctor said, they always have someone stand by to pick up their children, but it may not be possible for someone who cannot afford this. But we always can have adopt to a system whereby we can support our children and communicate, listen to them. I think these are all very simple things that we don't need to teach, but unfortunately, maybe we all need someone to tell us this for us to remember this.
Maybe for Praveen, it's a little easier. You got smaller children, but for Dr. Maria's and Ajay, they've got bigger children and the grown-up children. See, and that's you've seen the fruits already.
जी
Yes.
जी सर अनदर थिंग ये जो केयर टेकर वाला स्पेस है ना दिस इज a little tricky because in today's times who you are sending your child out with because
Yes.
you're talking to an audience आपको जो भाई आप इसमें से लीजिए हर एक की पेरेंटिंग जर्नी बहुत अलग है हर एक के सर्कमस्टांसेस बहुत अलग है जो भी आपको भाई आप इस थॉट्स को लीजिए caretakers have to be very well thought through it's a very tricky space
Yes.
and as they're growing up we have to be very particular who they are associating themselves with but beyond the point there's not much one can do but one can be there for them one can stand by and I would like to ask ma'am Gitanjali ma'am how important is it to build their self esteem so that they start learning to take the right decisions for themselves because after a certain point it's not possible to send caretakers everywhere.
I agree with you on that. Maybe I was not fully expressive. By caretakers, I didn't mean chaperone only. Most of the times, he has always been, in fact, both of us also, go and pick them, used to go and pick them up. As you rightly brought up the subject, that you have to be very mindful in who is going to pick up. So, yes, it has been both of us also. So far as the self-esteem is concerned, I think if they value their abilities and value themselves, it is, and we can encourage them to pursue their interests. And the most important thing about self-esteem is the unconditional love that we give from our household, that we are always there for you. And we can help them.
It will make them more confident. Their self-esteem will increase. They will be more positive in life. So, love as a whole plays a very vital part in bringing up the child. So, I think as all the parents, they should at least be there to give unconditional love to their child, and we should not expect that they should excel in their field. They should be, as a whole, they should be as a good personality. They should have good civic sense. They should have some empathy for the downtrodden. They should be taking care of them, and something they should contribute to the society, which is very very important. I feel that it is lacking in this time. That it is a need of the hour. I think that we should have a personality as a whole. Not that they should be excelling in their studies and all those things, or sports, or but they should be as a whole. They should be a good personality. What I feel, I have this opinion.
जी there is so much to explore अभी तो ये शुरुआत हुई है इस प्रोग्राम की there is so much to explore मैं
Sneha ji, we have time. Can I ask one
Yes.
thing to the panel? One question.
yes
Like this is my own challenge. Connecting to the younger generation. I feel if you don't connect to them properly, most of the time we don't understand their language. Say, for example, they say slay, low key, shook. I mean, all of these are new term and has different meaning than what we understood. So, anyone from the panel, if they can.
Yeah, sure. I think
What-
we need to be abreast with what they are doing. Like, they would say things like FOMO and LOL. So we should
Yeah.
definitely understand. In fact, my children, they get irritated that we know it all. Because we make it a point to know it all. Because you communicate with them in their language. So they connect to you better. So definitely, I mean, little time that you give to what is happening and what language are they using. So yes, you can definitely connect with them much better. Because as children, probably as young children more so, now our children are old enough, they won't fall for the trap. But the young children would think that you are one of them. You are their friend because you are speaking the same thing. The children used to come back home and speak a P language. I even learned that P language. So they would just encode every P like for what, Apar, Yapu, Dabuing. So they would put a P and we would learn that also. So that was fun. That was fun growing up.
जी
Thank you.
घंटा हो गया है, 1 घंटा हो गया है. We can conclude the program, but there is so much to ask and share from the next session. We are going to open this to our audience also to ask questions. To conclude, I'll ask Gitanjali ma'am a question and then we can conclude it. Ma'am, how important, and sir, how important is it not to, because this is a very important concern, to put down your child in front of others? How important is it to have just a one-on-one conversation where nobody else is listening? Not to put down your child in front of anybody else.
Most important, not only a child, for us, we have a hands down rule, not even to do it for our house help. Nobody should be put down in public. And that, as you asked, the question of self esteem, because that will be hurting the self esteem of the child. So you have to have a one on one conversation and explain it to the child, but never do it in public, for sure. It has to be, and that has to be a hands down rule.
Wonderful.
One
Yes.
for
Yes.
me, it's like,
Yes,
many times when we talk about parenting, the biggest question come in mind of parents is like, is it really complex, or do we need to take that much of effort to do parenting? So I would say, see, becoming a parent is the easiest thing, but to live the life of a parent is not that easy. So if we decide to become a parent, if you decide to be a parent, we should be ready to take up the complexity of that. We need to learn, we need to understand, and we need to explore more and take it as a responsibility, because it is our decision to become parent. So it's our own decision, nobody forced, right? Yeah, of course, social pressure may be there, but it is ultimately our own decision. But at the same, so we need to take it as our responsibility to be a very good parent. So that's what I. Thank you.
Sanya, I would like to say one
Yes,
thing.
ma'am. Yes,
I
ma'am.
think parenting can be such a beautiful dance that then by the end of it, there is no dancer, it's only the dance which is open to the world.
How lovely.
Yes, it's a beautiful bond. It's a very sacred bond.
Yeah.
Ajay sir, your closing remarks, sir. We'll ask everyone your closing remarks.
Yeah, I think it's better to learn from mistakes, but if you can learn from others' mistakes, it's always better. So in parenting, you don't commit mistakes. So one can read our book, listen to our conversations, and be a better parent.
जी, thank you. Her Highness, आपके जी, आप कुछ बोलेंगे और before we leave, आप एक लाइन, एक कुछ शब्द बोलेंगे? आप जी.
I can only say, may God be with all of us. Make us all, parents, children, everybody, better people. May we be better children ourselves, so that our children will look upon us. Only if we love our parents will our children love us. We have to be good sons and daughters, so they will be good children to us. And I hope that sessions like this area, which is so important. God
Thank
bless. Namaste.
Thank you for staying with us. Thank you. You've been very kind. Thank you for staying with us.
Thank
Mummy,
you. Thank you.
your
Thank
thoughts.
you. Thank you very much.
Your thoughts? Would you like to say something before we leave?
Me? Are you asking me?
Ji,
Oh, I
ji.
think parenting is the biggest challenge one can ever face. Today, if there is one challenge, therefore, parenting should be a choice and not a compulsion. Parents, when they come together, should decide whether they are united and together and capable of bringing up a child or not. Otherwise, stay together.
Very true.
Parenting is not a compulsion anymore. You can be staying together, husband, wife, and yet not be producing children. Once you produce the children, it's a joint, very, very major responsibility. And one must be very careful. It's a project for life. As Ajay said, it's a project for life. and therefore it is interminable. So if one doesn't have the capability, resources, time, energy, orientation, I think it could stay together rather than have be parents. But once you're a parent, then you need something more. Is togetherness plus supportive systems, social support systems with working women. To my mind, with both the parents working, like the Marias working, both working, how they became compatible. But everybody is not Dr. Marias. They may be one profession 24 hours and the other profession 12 hours. So therefore, you need some social support systems which have not been created, which take care of parenting during the working hours and during the others, which also needs supervision and chaperoning. Not physical, but watch over. So I think society now must decide what is parent, understand what is parenting, challenges of parenting, and then conscious decision of parenting, and then what is it that they can contribute and what the society should raise, including grandparents, including joint families. They must stand up and be supportive to such parents. Otherwise, you will have parents, you will have couples, but not parenting. But they may parent child outside, but not have their own biological child. This is my feeling at the moment. This is what I'm seeing around. Thank you.
थैंक यू
Thank
हम
you.
आज का सेशन थैंक यू हम आज का सेशन यही कंक्लूड करते हैं
Thank you so much.
थैंक यू सो मच टू एवरीवन हम अगले महीने फिर आपको मिलेंगे
With
God
another
Yes.
mindful parenting couple.
another yes absolutely or
And
mindful
of course, the
parenting
authors stay with us. We have Ajay and Praveen staying with us. The two of them stay as authors of this book and of this concept, while
जी,
we'll have another couple.
जी इस बुक से प्रेरित है ये सेशन
Yes, that's
मिलते हैं आपको अगले महीने
Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much.
and,
Thank you so
and,
much, Doctor.
and God is the most loving, Almighty is the most mightiest loving parent. So
Sure.
seek God's grace for your children.
Yes.
Seek God's
True.
grace.
Most important.
Very,
Most
very
important.
important.
God's grace.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to all the mummies and thank you to daddies. Thank you to all the parents. This is for parents. आइए इकट्ठे चलते हैं एक साथ आगे सीखते हैं एक दूसरे से।
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
जी,
Thank you, Kaina.
जी, everyone. Thank you.